Do you understand how pathetic Scott Bessent is? But that gets even better because I think on September 12th and 13th in Beijing, the BRICS summit's going to be there. And Iran's going to be sitting there as well at BRICS, not just with Russia, China, India, and the rest of but with Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. You know, the two nations that are ostensibly our regional allies who are sitting there talking about economic activities. Iran is not isolated. Iran will never be isolated. Scott Bessent stood there like an idiot. But here's the thing, because this comes into answering your question. It turns out that actually we haven't done anything. He made this big announcement of an invasion that will never take place. When asked specifically what sanctions have been imposed on Iran, he said, we haven't imposed any yet. We're simply warning them. And which secondary sanctions will be that, oh, no, we're not going to do that. Why? Well, that would collapse the global economy. No, Sherlock. So what he's done is he's created the atmosphere of America putting the ultimatum down. If you don't do what we demand you to do, we will tear you apart. We will destroy you. We are the conquerors of the world. And yet, nothing was actually threatened because nothing was done. Now what we see is frantic activity behind the scenes as the United States tries to come up with some sort of compromise deal about the Strait of Hormuz. You see, Trump needs to be able to say shipping is flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. He can't make it happen militarily. He's already tried that with his lies. 400% up. Well, when you go from 0 to 4 ships, when the normal routing is like 60, you say 400%, you understand how meaningless that number is. And we don't have the military capacity to make it better. We can't. We have no capacity. That's what happens when you lose a war. So now we need to find another way. So he's threatened an economic D-Day for anybody who does business with Iran. And then he's praying that before it becomes evident that Scott Bessent is just blowing hot air, that some sort of deal can be arranged where the Strait of Hormuz is opened up so that he, Donald Trump, can turn to the American people and pull the white rabbit out of the hat and say, because Scott Bessent declared D-Day against the...
Another day, no music. I want to be here. I want to be here. I think we're distracting ourselves way too much, you know? So in order to get the mind, body, and spirit focused and in sync, you know, you gotta take that time to not allow other thoughts to come in. You know? Other thoughts seem to affect you in a negative way. always put yourself in the mindset of form first, right? Get the form right so you can hit all of the things that you're trying to hit and build up the muscle that you're trying to build up. I think life is tricky in these days and times because we have an adversary that makes it tricky, that wants to control once again, we got the mic, thinking about something else right now, but that wants to control every aspect of your life so that they can steal whatever from you. Control your life, your incoming and outgoing. And it's tough. It's tough to reconcile that for a lot of people. Very tough to reconcile that for a lot of people. And I understand that wholeheartedly. Two sets of squats. Those shit is heavy. Those shit is heavy. But yeah. The whole vibe of everything is off. Especially when you start to really think about what existence is, right? When you start thinking about that, when you start looking at what's happening, the whole shebang is off, right? The whole perspective is off, right? It's like you're saying Jesus wants you to be a good steward, a good person under these type of people that exhibit none of that energy. And then they look extremely like this person that they tell you is supposed to be the supreme leader, the Grand Kai. You feel me? The Grand Kai. And then they go against it every opportunity that they have. Every chance they got, they go against everything that they claim the Lord and Savior put them to be stewards of. They do the exact opposite. So when you're looking around, you're seeing people like Hayden Panettiere and Trump start doing or talking about, a specific entity that produces movies, TV shows, news, and then those people classify you as a specific term for even clocking the shit, clocking. You have to start to wonder, what exactly are we contributing to? You dig? What are we contributing to? What are we really doing? What is it that we're really contributing to? Right? I just say, you can't really answer that question. You really can't answer that question until you create distance between yourself and the things that are distracting you. The things that are distracting you, that's gonna confuse you and make you look at things incorrectly. And it's by design. It's designed that way so that you don't look. Yeah. Get 2 jobs. Put your kids in karate. Put them in basketball. Put them in football. Right? Swimming class. Right? Do their homework. Take the shower. Go right to bed. You don't even have time to get a full grasp of what you're really doing in this whole shit. And then when somebody comes and be like, this is what it is, this is what reality is. You're a mental construct of the greater being. You're like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. How can I be a mental construct of this supreme being if my life is constantly inundated with BS? Money problems, relationship problems, work problems, car problems, house problems, friend problems, vacation problems. I don't even get time to think. I don't even get time to think. And then you telling me that some supreme being got my best interests at heart? Shit. But until you disconnect from the things that are distracting you, which I get it, it's hard to do because you got to make that bread, right? You lost for words. That's just it. That's just it. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, bro. Plain and simple. get that up to like 20. Get it up to 20. But yeah. But yeah, get in your mind to wrap around these greater philosophical ideas. You have to distance yourself from the things that calls for your attention. And the older you get, it seems like the harder it is. That's why we have to be able to lean on each other. Have to. You have to be able to say, yo, let's meditate. Yo, take my kids so I can meditate, read some books, find myself. I'm gonna do an hour and a half, right? You might want to go to the gym, you might want to go to the library, you might want to sit in a friend circle. See, that's one of the other things that we do. We say, oh, we need time. I need to go and spend time with my friends. How about your friends sit and just talk? Talk about books. Talk about life. Talk about their next moves as a group. Talk about financial decisions, things like that. Versus we going to the bar. We're going to watch a game. We're going to drink Mai Tai. We're going to, you know what I mean? There's enough opportunities that you can take to find the distance from the reality that we're all being thrusted upon us. Yeah, man, like, and I find I do have sympathy for people that genuinely don't have help. It takes a community. It takes a community to really work towards that whole thing and build that whole thing that we're looking for. And that's why I said that thing about the crypto. You know, making the crypto a government thing where you can watch where the money's going. And then we just deal with the gold and silver, right? Simple. That's it. Breathe. I said this too. I'm saying this too. Everybody's able to bang, right? Everybody's able to bang. That's why they have militaries, right? That's why they have police, militias, right? But you start doing it, it's something else. It's something totally different. And you have to ask yourself, why would I get ready? Well, if I'm I'm starting to prepare to. They want to stop it. It's not even that they want to stop it. They're sending people that look like me to stop it. It's like you have to start focusing on, okay, what is different about me that everybody else knows that I don't? Right? What is it about me that everybody else has an understanding of that I'm missing? Right? But you would never understand that or get that until you start looking for yourself. Yeah. Funny. The birds are up there while the lightning is striking. It's funny. We scared of it, but they out there flying. They deep in that joint. That's the kind of fearlessness we gotta have. Which is the interesting thing, because this word fear has been arising a lot lately. A lot. With people talking about, are you afraid? What is fear doing to the human body or the human psyche? That we're creating fictitious enemies or threats that are nowhere to be found. What is it that we're doing? Right? You gotta kind of think about that. You know? You know what I mean? Gotta kind of think about that. Well, right now it's giving me up to 2 minutes. Right now I'm getting like shin splints. That hurt. But yeah. I'm trying to get the jump rope up to 2 minutes. Then the next is 5 minutes. After I can do 2 minutes consistent. But yeah, man. Shit's bogus, bro. Shit is bogus. And this is the other thing. If you're able to do a 30,000 foot view of information, 30,000 feet, right? It's kind of like you're looking at a puzzle on the floor, on the ground, right? And you got to put them together. Everything's face up, right? Seeing history that we all learned in school, right? Seeing the religious context and information that comes from that, seeing the news media, seeing the military, seeing what the Israelites, the Moors, the Nation of Islam, spiritual people are saying even the red pill or the blue sky type of people, and you take all of these things and you put them into place, right? The Sumerians, the Olympians, even Tartaria. You have to take all of these things: America, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, which would be Central Asia, right? Take all these stuff, Sumerians, everything, right? And you put it on the floor, lay it out, and then you got to put the picture together with all this information that you got, right? Right? Then you got to think about the amnesia too that mankind is experiencing. You got to put all that on the ground and look at it from a 30,000 foot place. What people do is they take one piece and then hyper focus on it, right? Even channeling, right? Channeling, tapping into your higher self or something outside of yourself to give you answers about yourself, about the world, right? Some people say that's demons, some people say otherwise. I don't know. I'm just saying, you got to take everything and put it on the floor, on the table, and look at it like that, like pieces of humanity, and find out what you get out of those pieces, right? Right? All those things and you put them in the pot. You jumble them up. What the hell you get? What do you get? People be like, yo, where the gods go? Let's think about it. Where the gods go? Right? Some people say, oh, the Greeks abstract. It wasn't real. That's what the Greeks was doing. They were just taking human emotion, human trial and tribulation, and giving it physical attributes and making them gods where they had morals to the lessons that they were trying to convey. Okay? Okay, so you're telling me every society did that. Every society. The Hindus, the Chinese, the Norse, the Greeks, the Romans, even the Muslims before they became Muslims, the Sumerians, they just took attributes of humanity and made them gods. Think about that. You know what I mean? Think about that. So, you start to ask questions. You start to really look at the puzzle pieces that is laid out before you. Right? Even if you looked at them or not. That's God saying, these are all the pieces that I put in reality that you got to put together. You know? You know? Figure deal